Alright, everybody. Welcome to the rundown, which we're going to do this every month. At the beginning of the month, we'll take a look at where we're at and where we've gone in the past 30 days. Okay? So yeah, let's not mess around because this takes a while. Okay? So let's do it. Welcome to the rundown. First up, S&P 500, and as we can see, we reached that high. We were actually able to push up and make a new high on that one, and now we're coming back to retest our support area or our resistance that turned to support. See how that works out, and if that gives us a good signal, we'll go back up to retest this 5,878 area. And I know that's not the correct number for the S&P. I think this is futures or something like that. But anyway, that's what it is for this particular chart. And I may take this one off because I don't even think we can trade it. But it is a good indicator. Alright, so it reached this high at 58.78, and now it's coming back to retest this previous support, and then we'll see what happens from there. We got our moving averages coming up to help out, so if this support doesn't hold, our moving averages may catch us and then push it back through. Okay, next up is Bitcoin. Alright, we're looking at the Bitcoin futures, and it went up and retested. We got our retest finally. After confirming our support here at 65.97, after confirming our support there, we went higher to retest this previous high. Got rejected. Now we're coming back down into our moving averages. Alright, so we got a little bit below our 5, so our 220 is most likely not going to handle it, and we're going to come down and retest this area again for support. Alright, then we'll have our 150 coming up underneath to either help force it back up, or maybe it might come down into here and catch more momentum and just continue to sell. But I foresee we're going to get a pull back into this area, catch with the 150, and then push back up to retest again. And that third retest should take us through and higher. We'll see if we get to that point. Right now we're at a little bit of a pullback, and I foresee that pullback coming back into this area here. If that doesn't hold, then our moving averages should catch it around in here somewhere, or maybe back to the 61 and then back up again to try it again. Sort of like how we did back here on this one here. We hit that area, pulled back down into the 61 area, went back up, tried to go and try it again, but it didn't work, got rejected, and fell even further. Okay, so that little bowl we're making there, okay, is what we're looking for. That's our cup coming up. Okay, so it'd be nice if it was, a little more a better looking cup, but it's kind of showing like we're, we went down and now we're rolling back up. Okay, so look for some support, and then a move higher. Okay, that's Bitcoin. And then of course Bitcoin again, and same thing. This Bitcoin USD, the other one was Bitcoin futures. Alright, so yeah, same thing. Look for some support in this area, if not the next area, and then a further retest of that area up there. And we should get higher in that 74. I had it set at 73 here, but it should be at about 74 or some change. what was our high here? High of 74323. That was 74269, so 74323. Right. High of 74323, yeah. So let's do this. Just activate it. Grab it, drag it up here. Like so. Alright. That's our rejection area. Alright, so we need to retest the 74,000. Need to get to at least 75,000, come back and retest for support. Alright, and that's Bitcoin. Next up is light sweet crude oil futures. And they're continuing to sell off. Had a little bit of push up back to the moving averages, but got rejected. Now they're selling off again, got the 20 and 5. This looks like it's trying to get a little dead cat bounce in there. It opened up a little window, so it may have just been closing in that window for that little area of vacuum, or what do you want to call it, or dead space, what have you. Anyway, that it filled that area, so and then it put in a red bar, and now it got a green bar on Friday. So if tomorrow is another red bar, and we start heading lower, then look for a retest at around 65.27. Of course, if we get more green, look at the retest of these moving averages rolling over to push it back down. So if you do get a push back up here, you're most likely going to get a failure with it, and that'd be a good time to take you short on light sweet crude oil. And that's a crude oil, I think, is considered energy, or is it? They don't give it a like they do the others. Anyway, next up is, I'll figure that part out on my own and let you guys know later. Next up is the the E-mini S&P 500 index futures, and it too is getting a little sell off to retest this area that was previously a window. A window opened up right there, so it's going to come back to this window, and he's going to find some support and go higher and not worry about it, or it's going to come down and close this window at 56.13. So look for a little bit of a pullback, I think, on the S&P further into this area here. So what's that, another 100-point drop on the S&P to close this window, and then to go back and retest those highs. Let's get the other. Next up is the Ethereum futures, or Ether futures, which is Ethereum, and I believe that's Ethereum. It just says Ether. Maybe it's not Ethereum, but it's gotta be. ETH didn't say there either, but I believe that's the ticker for Ethereum. I'm tripping right now. Anyway, Ethereum. We're going to just say Ether right now, futures, because it's not spelling it out anymore. Maybe they're changing the name or something. I don't know. I have to figure that out. But anyhow, looking at the chart, I say we're still in a downtrend, and put in some indecision in here. So it's either going to want to go lower or higher. But these indecision bars, they haven't quite decided what they're doing. So watch out on Monday on this one, because on the 4th, which is tomorrow, this thing is kooky. My chart's all jacked up or something, or what? That's the future, so maybe it's going. What about the chart? Let's try the other one and see if it's the same. And that one, the date is the 1st, so that would be right. So futures is based on what time day period? Let's see. We're learning something here, folks. Sorry. Futures, that one's 11/4, and that date is 11/1. Okay, so 11/1 and 11/4 is 3-day difference. What's this one here? That one is 10/31. That one is 11/1, and that one says 11/4, which is tomorrow. Let's see what this one is. That one is 10/31. Okay, so I think my chart's just freaking jacked up, and it's jacking me up right now. Good thing I'm recording this so I can look at it later and go, well, that chart even nothing like it used to be, or I'll be like, I don't know what the hell is going on here. Anyway, sorry about that. Let's get back at it. We're gonna leave that Ethereum bull stuff alone, man, because it ain't acting right on the chart. None of them really seem to be acting right now all of a sudden. Anyway, so we got the gold futures, and gold is looking pretty good right now. Still, it went up to, so we hit this area of resistance, pulled back, found some support down here, and pushed on through. Then it made it up to 2801.8, ran into some resistance, and so we got a little bit of a sell-off. It pushes below our 5 SMA. Alright, so look for some support down in here on that one at around 26 again, and a retest of this up here. So I think we're just going to have a minor pullback like we did on these other ones, and then a retest, and then a push higher on gold. I think gold is still it's going to continue to be bullish until after we get through with all these wars and stuff that's going on right now. But when you're when you're in the middle of warring, you ain't got time to be printing paper. So the only thing you really have to hold on to that's worth anything is going to be the gold and the silver that you have stored, stacked away somewhere. So they're loading up on it, folks. So you take that for whatever you want to take it for, but I believe gold is going to continue higher because I don't see an end to this crap soon. Alright, next up, natural gas futures, and it's selling off back into the support area of these moving averages, so let's see what happens. They may catch some support and continue back up to retest this area here. Once we get above that and retest for support, look out for it to run into some trouble at $3.15. If it can get above that, then off to the races on natural gas. Next up is NASDAQ. NASDAQ was trying to make it back up to retest this previous high at 20,000, but 20,983, so almost 21,000, but it couldn't do it. Ran into some trouble at 20,756 and sold off. Trying to find some support in this area here. Around 19.95. So we'll see what happens. If that doesn't happen, then we're going back to 19,693 to retest for support there. And that may be a little bit lower, about 1900, we'll say, around that area, 1900, for some support. And then, because I don't think 600 will move. Well, maybe not 1900, that's way down here. So let's say maybe 19,500-ish. So anywhere between 693 and 500-ish, so 100 points in this area. Alright, for some support, moving averages should be up by then to help out, and you got, we're going to have some days pushing in too, so it ain't going to just sell off all of a sudden. It's going to, work its way back down, kind of like it did here. So look for something like that, because it actually almost put us back into the same spot. Alright, like this one was pumped up to here, so it's almost the same move here on the NASDAQ. Okay. Just like that. Funny how it works out, huh? Alright, so look for something like that, and then we'll retest support and see if we're going to go back and try to get through this 20,983 area in the future. Alright, so that's the NASDAQ E-mini 100 index, and then silver futures ran into some resistance at 35,000. Tried to push up and try it and retest it, but couldn't just do it. Got rejected at exactly 34. Not exactly, but around 34,650. So $100. I mean $100. $50. No. Somebody help me with the math. Anyway, 50 cents or so. Okay. And then didn't just, got his butt kicked up with that. It was like, forget this, let's go down here and get some more reinforcements, because right now there's just too much fighting these guys over here overhead. So we need to go back down and get some reinforcements and gather our troops so we can push up and try this again. But it's back below this moving average. This support area that turned resistance area that turned support is now turning into resistance again. So we have to get some strength to push up through here. Silver needs a little bit. There was a lot going into here, but then a lot came back out. Alright, so we need to see what happens in this area of resistance here. And if we start to roll over, then look for these moving averages to catch us, or maybe some support back down in here where we had a lot of accumulation going on. Okay, but yeah, look for silver possibly to continue to sell off. If this 20 rolls this way and this 5 keeps pushing, it's going to push it into these moving averages, and we'll see what happens once it does that. It'll look something similar to this probably right here. Okay, so that's that on silver. What's next is the YM Mini Dow Jones Industrial Average Futures. And that's looks like it's got a nice little pullback here. Got a window to close in here. Look for some support here at 41,682. This little bit of, I'm not sure if that much of a little bit of a window is really going to be anything. If it really means anything. If it really needs to be reconciled, because it doesn't seem like it's that big of a, let's see, high of 41,569. This one's low was 41,795. So, that is a pretty decent difference. I don't know. We'll see. But there's a window open, so look for possibly closing that window before going back higher. Alright, so that's the Dow Jones Mini. Next up is Apple. And Apple had good earnings, but still sold off. So there was, maybe some profit taking. Just like, we got a good earnings, so that means we're going to continue to go higher. So let's take a little bit off the table and jump back in somewhere else. Maybe that's what we got going on right now with Apple. They do have this window way down here open, but that's quite a fall to close that window. I mean, you're talking $60. I don't know if they sell off $60 in order to do that, to close this window. Or however they make the stock move to come down and close windows. I'm assuming that that's what they're doing, selling stock or something. Or taking profits. Yeah, they're selling their, maybe is that what happens when you do the buybacks? So we'll see. But there's this area that needs to be reconciled at some point, and we got a little bit of a sell-off. So look for 214.69 for some support. If that doesn't happen, then look for these moving averages to support. If they don't hold and they roll with it, then look for 197. And if you get that far down, you might as well go down and close that window. Alright, so that's it on Apple. Next up, Albemarle. And Albemarle is looking pretty decent. That's they do the mining of lithium and other materials. Alright, they're the largest producer of lithium. So right now they're looking pretty decent. Look like they wanting to challenge the moving averages overhead. They got support from the 5 SMA, but the 20 is still kind of undecided. They got resistance overhead at $99.39. So it's got a little bit to push through. They got a lot to fight through. These got the momentum of these moving averages. This support area turn resistance, and you got this vacuum down here below at around $78 to close. So Albemarle's got a lot going against us, and it's going to take a lot to push up through here. I might even imagine they might gap up somewhere if it's going to do it. So it's going to take a lot of momentum to get them through this area. If that doesn't happen, then look for them to pull back to close this window down here at $78. Alright, so that's Albemarle. Next up is AMC. And what we going to say about AMC? Moving averages are flat. Got the 20 flat, the 5 flat. The 200 is up here coming down to rescue. 200 moving exponential. So that's way up here. So the only thing is there an opportunity. And we got getting rejected at $4.57. We need to close above this red bar here. At the high of that bar was $4.57 as well. So there you have it. We need to close at about $4.58, $4.59, and retest this $4.91 area. If we can get above that, next stop $5.47. So it won't take much to move AMC, but it's gonna take a lot to move it because of all the, not only the resistance on the charts, but the resistance on the streets, if you know what I mean. Alright, next up is AMD, and it is on the sell-off. and it's doing just like that bar there said it would do. It's starting to do like that bar said it would do. And that's probably this sell off here. So it's retracing its old steps, running to some resistance here. At about $164, then it gapped down, which isn't cool. It's not cool of you, AMD, to gap down like that. But it is kind of cool because now it lets us know what you're really doing. Alright. So, we probably get our sell-off continued into this area here. I don't know if we're going to come all the way back down like this one did. I think we're going to find some support here at around $132.87. Then bounce back up to go back up and close this window it opened here. Right, so we got this window that needs to be closed at this price range in here. No, wrong one, sorry. Wrong tool. Right here. Alright. At $157.99. Okay, which you can see back here in the past, it respected it. Alright. Respected it. Respected. So there is definitely something going on between these two prices. Alright, some little dead space in there, or some vacuum, or just a price that nobody wants to touch, I guess. Anyway, that's my own little humor. I don't know if you get it or not, but that's what we got. So look for a retest of 132.87. Then I'll go back up to close these windows. If not, maybe we'll go down here to 116 again and finish this move here that we've been getting, because it's been doing this thing. Right? This stepper down. Okay, so maybe we'll continue this little stepper. Alright. Next up is Amazon. And Amazon got a nice push up through. We were wondering about this area at one point. Pushed through. Couldn't maintain it. Came back. Couldn't even use this area for some support. It had to find a new area of support, which maybe we might need to move that one, because that one didn't do anything. It just bounced around through it and kind of just chopped it up a little bit. Right? That's more of a bit of a range in there than it is a support. That's more of a support area than a support line. There probably should be two lines in through there, right? So we should have more something like this. Where's that thing at? Is that it? Something like this. And like this, right? So we're just kind of swinging back and forth through this area. Okay, and we gapped up in here, so it looks like we're probably going to hit this resistance area and come back down and through this area again. Okay. So if we look for that, look for the Amazon to run into some resistance at 201. Sell off, come back into this area again. That seemed to have some kind of traction, magnetic traction, or what, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Seems to be attracting the price though. Price seems to like this area. So keep an eye on that coming back into here. You can probably load up in this area, because our moving averages should be coming in there to help out. But that's not me telling you to buy, hold, or sell or anything like that, but this would be a good area to accumulate for somebody like myself. But I'm not buying any Amazon. I don't own any of it right now either. So, but yeah, that looks like what we're gonna be doing, because these windows that opened up here, window here, it's just gonna be drawing it back into these areas of these empty areas. So these windows got to get closed. So, and there's a big window down here that it came down. Oh, I already took care of that one. So never mind, forget that window. But I think this one's still open. Most likely. But anyway, I don't think we're gonna come that low, but you never know these stocks, because these markets are crazy. But yeah, so that's it on Amazon. Look for the pullback into this area after running to resistance here. I wouldn't get too excited if it keeps moving, unless we get a big gap over this area here, and then come back and retest and then another move higher. Then you can say, okay, well, you know, they're not gonna worry. They're gonna ignore this area in here and keep going higher and worry about it later down the road. All right, but I suspect another red bar back down into this area and then go higher. Okay, that's Amazon. Next up, Broadcom, and we're getting a little bit of a sell-off there in Broadcom. It actually pushed up through, caught some support at this 167.81 area. I believe we talked about this area before. Pushed up through, made a high of 186.42 that it could not push any higher. 186.42. And it couldn't push any higher, and came back to retest this 176. Tried it again, got rejected again, and it went even lower down to this 167 area, 167. Pushed up and tried to get back through the 176, but it didn't have enough to do it. And now it's back down here at 167 again. So these moving averages are rolling over to test it. If we get a red bar that closes below 167, look out, here we come, 157. Alright, it looks like we may continue lower into these moving averages, and we'll see what happens there. But yeah, Broadcom looks like it's if we get a red bar tomorrow and close below this 167.81, and we're gonna continue going lower in Broadcom, and look for 157 for the next stop. Alright, next up is Cheesecake Factory. And whoa, what happened with you? You just went nuts all of a sudden, huh? Cheesecake Factory. We've been going crazy on the cheesecake. I don't know what the heck that is right there, though. What the heck is that thing? Well, so, and we got a window open on it, Cheesecake Factory. So this one is a little bit unique here. Okay, because this bar, pinpoint bar, looks like it's a sell bar, but I don't think it's really a sell bar. But then it may be a sell bar. These bars confuse me, because they had the same bar like this on Chipotle, and the next day the bar took off and went straight up. But because we get two reds in here, I would assume it's going to continue to go lower. So I'm going to say that. I think we're going to go back into this area, close this window, get caught by our moving averages. They might, bend over a little bit because of the strength of this fall. I'm going to make them bend a little bit. It's a lot to catch. I'm shooting it. That's what, $6 on a stock that moves $1.57 a day, average. You know what I'm saying? So a $6 move is a lot for a couple moving averages to catch. So look for these pull back into here, moving averages maybe to falter a little bit, and then while these are the 200, 150, and 200 push up to support, look for some support in this area in here where the window actually opened. And if that doesn't hold, then 41.12 is probably going to be our next support area. Retest that area for support, and then start moving higher again. If we don't reconcile this pointer first, all right, because it may not believe that. It may be like, you're just Josh, and it wants to roll back over and then put in that second top and then sell off. So we'll see what happens with Cheesecake. But right now it's got a window open that needs to be closed, so they may want to do that first before going back to retest this high and get a little more strength down in here. Alright, that's it on Cheesecake. Next up is Constellation Energy, which we got this window that opened up that needs to be reconciled. Looks like it's starting to sell off and come back down into this area. And our moving averages are way down here, so it's got enough room to run down, close these windows, catch these moving averages, and then take off again. But most of the energy stocks are starting to look kind of weak right now anyway. So, and sweet crude oil is selling off. So I'm wondering if that has to do with it as well. So, trying to work on that part of it. Once I get that part figured out, then we'll be a little bit more clearer as far as these energy stocks are concerned. But right now, we know oil is selling off, and so is our Constellation Energy. And they sell natural gas, energy really. So yeah, so sustainable solutions, approximately, nuclear, wind, solar, natural gas, hydroelectric assets. So basically I'm assuming that oil is just in that energy area, but it's just not necessarily a part of it, whereas it may be a part of oil. Anyhow, it is selling off. Looks like it might be coming down to retest this 233 area. If that doesn't hold, and look like it's coming to close this window, and if that doesn't hold, we got our moving averages that are supposed to hold it up. If that don't hold, then we're coming back down to 155 area, and we'll be in a bear market and most likely continue to sell off. So let's keep an eye on Constellation Energy. Look to close this window, then move higher. I think this one is definitely going to continue to sell off. So I might just go ahead and buy a couple puts on this thing and see what happens. Or I might just sell it short and see what happens, make a couple dollars. Because I don't know what a put's going to be on that. And Anyway, that's my thing. I'll deal with that later. You guys do what you're going to do. Next up, but look for the sell-off, continue to sell off in Constellation. Next up is CGC, Canopy Growth Corporation. It was trying to act like it was trying to run again, but it then ran to that resistance at around $6 area, where it gapped down back here, so it had a resistance there at around $5.80 or so. So we know we have resistance in that area, as well as this resistance at $6. So it's going to take a nice push to get us through there, or a couple bars to get through the $6 area. So anywhere between $6 and $6.50. Look for some struggles. If we can get above that $6 and find some support above $6 somewhere, then we know we're going to continue higher. Alright, and that'll put us in these moving averages, because they look like they're getting ready to go flat. And in order for it to get more of these moving averages to pull down, we're going to have to go lower, and we don't want to go lower, we want to go higher. Right? So, and it has earnings on the 8th of November, so that's, I don't think that's Friday. Is it Friday? Friday, yeah. Earnings coming up this Friday for Canopy Growth. Friday, man. What are you doing on a Friday? What's wrong with you people? You gotta sit through the weekend. Next up is ChargePoint, and ChargePoint not looking so good. Still selling off. So that'll be, I said $1.20. So ChargePoint would be one you have to wait for when the electric battery stuff start kicking in again. The next level of support for it, and we won't know until it stops falling. All right. Next up is CL, which is Colgate-Palmolive, and Colgate-Palmolive was looking pretty good for a minute there. It hit $109.30. And then after that, it just said, all right, that's all we need. We're out. We're out of here. And it has been selling off ever since. Yeah. This thing has been selling off. It must have some bad news. Heated sentiment. So, what gives? Somebody probably downgraded it or something. Wells Fargo maintains underweight on Colgate-Palmolive, lowers price target to 92. That's on October 28th. So, Wells Fargo put in the kibosh. They said 92, so it should be catching some support button here, huh? That's 90. About in here. Oops. $90.61, somewhere in there. So, yeah, Colgate-Palmolive, Wells Fargo gave it a underweight, pushed the stock down, looks like. Gave it an excuse to take some profits. So look for some support in the $90 area and heading back up. If not, look for it to continue to sell off and maybe catch some support down in here at around 85. That would be the next area of support. And that doesn't hold up, look out below. Okay, that's Colgate. Next up is CME Group, and they pushed higher as financials. So I think the banks are starting to pull back a little bit right now. So keep an eye on this one. They may continue to sell off. Look for some support in this area around 219 and 221. If it doesn't hold, then look out for a retest of 212.70. If that doesn't work out, the moving averages can't help out, then look out below. We're coming back down here to this 193 area. Alright, but this is financials, and financials are looking kind of weak right now. If we get Trump in the office, financials are probably going to stabilize and do well. If not, then I think financials are going to continue to sell off into the end of the year. So, and I just say that just because of the different political stances that they have as far as economics. Okay, so next up is CMG, and that's Chipotle, which I am a contributor to Chipotle. Not only do I eat it, but I own some of the stock. And I was worried about this bar one day, and then the next day I got this bar, and I'm still not happy. Because this bar didn't close above this moving average. There's a resistance area. It ran into this resistance area and closed. It closed at 58.59 was close, and this bar is 58.54, so it barely closed past this bar of resistance that turned into support that became resistance again. So it's still resistance at the moment. Okay, you got the moving averages coming over to act as resistance. Also, you got the 5 coming over to act as resistance. Also, so Monday we need a green bar to help close this window that opened. And then once we get back up here, it's going to be another test. So I have a feeling we're going to be bouncing around in here for a little bit until it figures out who's got the most juice. And then we'll either continue higher or continue lower. But we definitely got something going on in here. This may turn out to be a stronger area of resistance and support. This may turn out to be, this whole area may be, maybe even this range right in here between 61 and 55 may be our resistance area. That whole area could be a pendulum swing area, you might want to call it, where it just kind of swings back and forth between that point until it finally breaks away. Alright, so that's Chipotle. Concerns about this area and what's happening in here. So for me, it'd be a pause. I'm not buying any more or sell. I won't be buying any more because I'm not selling any of it. So I won't buy any more in this area in here. It's going to pick up some more if we go lower, or wait and see where it's going to go and pull back before continuing higher before buying any more. But I want to get clear of this area. This $65 and between $65 and $60. I want to get clear. Oh wait, I'm sorry, that's 55. So between 65 and let's say 50, I like to be clear of that area before I even think about continuing to buy more higher, or of course I'll pick up more if it goes lower, but I probably won't pick up any more unless it gets below 55 or 50. And then I'll pick up some around 48 or whatever and see what happens in that area. But definitely it's kind of a no man's zone right now that it's in my opinion. I think that this is, unless we get a nice good bar on Monday, it's going to still run into this resistance area that rejected it. Okay, we got to get above that 61, so we need to get at least 62, 63 to kind of come back into here like it did here. And then, maybe get enough to push on through it, 65. And then we got 69 overhead that knocked us down big time too, so there's a lot of resistance there also. So it's got some challenges ahead for Chipotle. But it's always been a pretty strong stock, so I'm not too fearful for it, at least not of it going to zero. So whatever I've got invested in it, I'm not going to lose. But it just might take a little bit longer before before you see any major profits out of your investment. So, but we'll see what happens. We got, like I said, you got this week. We'll know where we're headed, right? At the end of this week, we should, or into next week. They keep saying now they're saying that they have up until a month to tally up all of the stuff. So, but then they already know. They already have a good idea within the next first couple of days, just by how high the count jumps in the beginning. So anyhow, next up, CMP. center point energy, and I meant to start the clock before I started so I know where I was at. And I think I'm going to make center point the last one because I still got a lot more to get through. Because this is A to Z, baby. A to Z. So, center point. Nice red sell bar into the moving averages. Close below our moving averages. Got our support at 28.50. Tomorrow, if we open up and close below this 28.50, look for some support at 27.94. If that doesn't work out, and look for the next support area at 27.14. And that'll put us back into this range that started way back when. Looks like that's where we're headed, back into this range. And we're doing the pendulum thing here. Let's see. Yeah, so we got into this range, and then it bounced around and shot out of it, and it shot down below it. Now we're shooting back up again. So it looks like we're getting ready to get sucked back into it. And so we'll see where we come out at on the other end, if we come out on the other end. If we don't come out on the other end, then maybe we've gotten enough to push it down and push us on through. But definitely, as you can see, an area of magnetism, vacuum, attraction. I don't know. You pick your word for it, but we definitely look like we're heading that way. All right, and that's let's stop on. We stopped on coin last time we did the rundown. We'll stop on coin this time. And Coinbase looks like it's ran into some trouble. Tried to push back higher, but it couldn't work. It sold off, and then it had like a little small indecision bar on Friday. So look for tomorrow when we open up on Coinbase and see where we're at tomorrow when it opens. And if it's opening up lower, then I think we're going to we're going to break off and just run to the downside. Because even Bitcoin right now is not looking very strong. So we have to be careful because they kind of move together. Coinbase and Bitcoin, which isn't surprising, right? But yeah, definitely keep your eye on Coinbase because it looks like it wants to sell some more. All right, so that's going to be our rundown. The next one we're going to pick up on the next one, on the second half, is going to be Costco, and we'll talk more about that because Costco is a great company. They do a lot of good stuff, so I think that'd be a good one to talk about, and I think you'd be happy to hear what we have to say. Be careful out there. All right, we got a lot of earnings coming out still, so the markets are still going to move around. But you definitely. If you stay in touch, like and subscribe. Definitely subscribe and hit the notification bell because I'm going to be periodically hitting some of these in the rundown, every once in a while too. So it won't just be just the rundown for the month. It'll be a rundown for, for the daily too, as it's moving throughout the days. So hit your notification bell so you can catch the next one, and make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you soon. We'll be careful out there, all right? Because these markets are crazy.